John Pearce has felt the full pain of a stingray barb.
We were just coming in from a big yacht, finished lunch, we went back out to the dinghy to get onto the yacht, and I was just walking in the water up to about my knees, and I was about 1 foot away from the dinghy, and then I trod on a stingray.
So when you tread on the ray, it's an automatic reflex. The tail comes up and the barb goes out and goes forward, and therefore it tends to penetrate the ankle.
And I've lifted my foot up, it was just gushing out with blood everywhere, like an artery had been severed or something like that. It was that bad.
The barb goes into the tissue and sends out a venom which is extremely painful. So that initially the symptoms are due to the venom or the toxin in the stingray spine.
It was like somebody getting a pen and ramming it into your foot. That's what it felt like. The pain was just immense.
For the first day or so, that's your problem, it's the venom. That's what's going to do all the damage, and that can actually kill you.
Well, we did all the wrong things, of course. You see blood and things, you try and stop it with ice.
The wound is extremely painful, it starts getting swollen, very hard to touch or to move. And so the first thing to do really is to put the wound into fairly hot water, about 45 degrees centigrade.
Let all the toxins come out. In fact, I've put all the toxins back into my system, and I started to shiver a bit and things like that. And I had a glass of wine to try and get over everything. I did ring my sister that night when it happened. She said go straight to hospital, but I didn't listen to her. Commonly,
there's a foreign body effect because a little bit of the stingray's spine or the skin over the spine has been left in the wound. And that's a foreign body effect, so that tends to start showing up a week or two after the injury.
I went to a medical clinic and then they had a look at it. By that time it was numb and I could feel around in the area. It was like a little V that it had put onto my foot.
The wound may look as though it's closed over and then it starts breaking open again.
I was given some antibiotics. That was okay for about a week. The day after I stopped taking the antibiotics, it got worse, so I went back to another doctor and told him what had happened. He gave me more antibiotics.
They're usually treated by the general practitioners, most of whom have had no training in treatment.
I went to see another doctor and just more antibiotics, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
There'll be a lot of dead tissue under that because the venom destroys tissue. So that's all got to be removed.
Then I went to Fiji and saw a Fijian doctor, and he suggested that I get the area debribed. Debribing is like cutting the whole thing out, replacing it with your own skin, a skin graft.
And once you've removed that, there is unlikely to be any further long-term effects. But if you don't debride that or don't clean it, then you could be in big trouble.
But because I had the infections, the Staphylococcus and the Mycobacterium marinum, the first skin graft that they took didn't take, so I had to have a second operation, so I was in hospital in total for 20 days.
When you think of all the stingrays around our coastline, you get an awful lot of stings. In Australia, the deaths are essentially where the barb has actually penetrated the cavities, like the heart cavity or the lung cavity or the abdominal cavity.
And one of the few recorded deaths that I've ever heard of was a kid on a boat. They pulled one of those big guys up and the poor little kid was in the way and it copped the spine right through his chest.
They didn't realise that the ray had gone in as far as it had. The spine had gone in, and then about 4 or 5 days later, when the wound necrosed, it just, the skin dies. He hemorrhaged and died that way. So
this is a classic area here, like where a stingray would have been. You can make out the outline here, in the tail section there. Once the tide goes out, it would have taken off. There's a distinctive shape though. There's another one just here. They're all over the place. I only know of 5 deaths in Australia, but
how does one? No one records these things, so there could be any number.
Wading in water like this or walking through water like this is not too bad, but I wouldn't be going out there any further with past my knees, no way in the world.
Lots of different types of stingrays in Australia. This big guy here is a smooth ray. That's the biggest stingray we've got in Australian waters. These things can get up to 350 kilos. That's a pretty massive animal. 2 and a bit metres across the wingspan and over 4 metres long from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. You can imagine messing with this guy. He's got the power and the size, and they do have the sting on the tail. and they are very capable of defending themselves if need be.
They are absolutely not aggressive animals. You know, they'll only sting you if you stand on them. Well, you know, you don't want to be stung. You wouldn't like that either.